Hi, and welcome to this week's vlog on high staff turnover and what to do about it. I'm Kelly Ford Dixon, owner and creator of Estate Management Systems, How to Manage a Mansion, and the soon to be launched membership platform called Private Service Support Team. I'm excited to tell you more about it very soon. But for now, let's dive into an issue that I think affects everyone, the staff, the homeowners, the entire family. When you have household staff and high turnover, and maybe not the most trusted relationships within that home, there's got to be a deep effect or an unease about that. And I'm always shocked that ultra high net worth employers, when they do have high turnover, I just feel like if I were to hire someone in my home, I would want to make sure that they were trusted individuals and that I was committed to long-term employment for them, so that for many reasons, but basically to know that the people within my home that were helping me manage my complex life were on board, happy, healthy, long-term relationships. And as you know, it takes months to build trusted relationships with new staff members. So high turnover is, employee retention and all of the family safety and privacy issues, in my mind, should be top of mind in domestic staffing. And in this post-COVID world of estate managers exiting for higher salaries, more sustainable positions, I want to make sure that principals and chiefs of staff or even estate managers are providing the best opportunity employments to all candidates to manage everything that is required in this particular field. So I want to make sure, are you a world-class employer? I often talk about providing world-class service, but are you a world-class employer, attracting world-class staff? So whether you're firing staff or they're leaving on their own accord, let's dive into some of the issues that might be shortening your staff's long-term employment, because retaining top talent is a game. And are you in the beginners category or are you in the master's program? Let's dive in. So what are the principals and the hiring manager's responsibilities? Number one, I think it's recruitment, having an exclusive agreement with a domestic staff recruiter who understands the needs of the homeowners and the company or the household culture is critical to finding the perfect fit for a new hire. And think about it this way. You could hire the best estate manager in the world, but if they come in and they are not a fit, they're not going to be successful in that role. Number two, I am adamant about this. Make those job descriptions incredibly detailed so that expectations from the start are clear and defined. Are you providing competitive salaries? And are you working with a staff recruiter that understands the value that you place on this particular position? Are you just working with 5 or 6 recruiters that are sending you resumes? Big difference. Are you providing the recruiters with a sustainable job description? Or do you require them to perform hybrid roles like cooking and housekeeping and contractor management? I hope if you've ever listened to any of my videos or read any of my blogs, those types of roles aren't sustainable. If you're cooking in the kitchen all day long, you can't be managing contractors, etc. Number three, existing staff. Do you have good staff in place now? Is your housekeeper on board? Is your gardener on board? I know you're going to answer yes to this. But truly, are they just smiling faces? Are they happy? in their roles? Do they feel successful? Do they feel heard? And what are you doing to help them improve their services? Are they even qualified to be there, or have you hired someone maybe lower than what the job requirements are and hope that they evolve into that? That's going to be a recipe for someone not being successful and someone else not getting what they want. And do you have adequate staff for all the things that need to be taken care of in this role? I have a really nice template about defining every single aspect of what needs to happen in that home to maintain it, and in the lifestyles of the principals that own that home. And it's pretty easy, although a little time consuming, to figure out what each of those tasks is, how long each task takes roughly, and who gets assigned to that task. It's kind of an exercise in building a database, but once you take a look at that, you can actually add up the hours of the housekeeper, the gardener, the estate manager, or whomever, and see if they are coming up with more than about, I like to say, between 30 and 35 hours, because you know every single week there's going to be an emergency, there's going to be something that throws them off course, and they're going to need time within their work week so that they're not constantly working overtime. On performance standards and expectations, this is number 4. Do you have standard operating procedures and weekly goals and accountability check-ins throughout the week? Do you find out why deadlines haven't been met? And how do you provide support to your team members? Do you have clear expectations about housekeeping standards and just service expectations? And do you communicate about the preferred role of, or the mode of communication? Number 5, do you have tools, the proper tools and training for your staff? And this is at every level. It doesn't matter how seasoned they are. Are you focused on cross-training staff? Because everyone needs and deserves time off. Still, the tasks need to be handled, even while that estate or the employee is off on vacation or sick or they leave. You've got to be able to fill the gaps in case of an absence. And number 6, performance one-on-ones and reviews. Performance reviews and one-on-ones. This is critical. This is absolutely critical. You can't just check in once a year and go, hey, how's it going? Are you happy? They're going to go, yep, good, okay. No, really, weekly one-on-ones. They can be for 15 minutes a week. How's it going? What are you working on? What's coming up for you? Do you have any stuck projects? How can I help you do your work better? Do you need some assistance? How are your tools working? Great. Let's see in a couple of days. Absolutely everybody on your team should have a one-on-one on a weekly basis. Number 7, communication. I just touched on this a bit, but are you, as the principal, as the chief of staff, or the estate manager, are you available when things aren't going smoothly? Maybe instructions aren't clear as you thought they were, and someone goes sideways with time spent, or something that can't be repaired. Maybe something, a tree gets pruned improperly. You're not going to get that back. So are you providing enough instruction, and are you available to check things out as things go forward? And does your team know how to properly communicate? And we all know they're texting each other and they're communicating. But as an estate manager, as a homeowner, as a chief of staff, do you know what your staff are communicating about? Do you know when they get off track and when they have a miscommunication or a disagreement about something? If there's not intervention there, those things fester, and it's not good for the team. Number 8, Do you have proper work schedules and time off that is scheduled and that the employee can plan for that? They all need adequate vacation. If they're working regularly overtime, you need to staff up. And how many of your team members are required to be on call each week? This should be on a rotation basis and not just delegated to one staff member. Number 9, the house vibe. If your household is a stressful, high energy house, your staff needs more time to recover from the week. Do not make them work on the weekend if it's been an extremely stressful week. Let them shut down and tune out. And find another person or another avenue for the weekend request or the after hour request. Everyone is entitled to this time. And finally, number 10, do you have adequate operations budgets? Because we all know that the best staff, the best estate managers, even if they're working in the best capacity and they're communicating with each other, have you given them the adequate budget to replace things that are broken so that you can proactively move forward with some confidence about not losing a mechanical piece of equipment like an HVAC unit in the middle of the summer? Or are you proactively changing out the hot water tanks when they're 15 years plus or more? Is there some autonomy with your estate manager or your housekeeper to spend X amount of dollars without your constant approvals? These types of autonomy empower your staff to do their best work. And yes, they're not going to always get it right, but you've given them the tools, the support, the training, the time off, they're well rested. These people are going to stay longer. Remember, people don't leave employers or managers when they're happy, satisfied, and feel valued. So I hope this has been helpful. Remember, seasoned veterans' salaries are at an all-time high. This is the pinnacle of being in private service right now. There is a high demand and high pay scale. So if you're going to step into this role and hire someone now, know that and put your ducks in order so that you retain that top person to help make your home happier, healthier, safer. Thanks, you guys, for listening. Appreciate your time.